I'm going to go ahead and get us started. I thought it would make sense for us to share our mission, and that is to promote and support the highest standards of care for children, youth, and families through the certification of CYCC practitioners. And we also are working towards really breaking and creating a mission that supports who we are today. So that is something that's important to think of. And if at any point you want to share key aspects of what you think could go into our mission, please don't hesitate, or I'm sorry, into our vision, please don't hesitate to throw that into the chat as well. It is just a pleasure to see all of the individuals checking in on the chat. Here's our agenda for today. As you know, we just were able to capture introductions. And again, I really appreciate folks introducing themselves and letting us know. Good to see you, Christina from Toronto, and folks from all over our country. Up Labrador, we're rocking. We got more and more folks coming in from Canada. We'll do a brief summary of our accomplishments and goals, but big picture, we really want to hear from you. We know the world has got some challenges. We know youth families all are addressing and working their best to try and acquire the best effort towards positive youth development. And we want to hear from you. Hi, Michael Long from Ball State. I know that your students are much happier with the weather today than they have been for a while. We're going to hit almost 60 degrees here in Bloomington, which is about 20 degrees Celsius up for our Canadians. So go ahead and start thinking about what you would like to share with us with regard to successes and challenges, and then certainly also opportunities, ways in which you can see CYCCB serving you and the humans you serve. We're also going to introduce our new higher education partner, and then we'll share some opportunities for engagement and our calendar of events for the coming year, at least a starting point so that we don't have to go so long without getting to engage with you all. We did our introductions. Again, what a pleasure to see folks checking in from all over the place. I see some Philadelphia. I see some folks from here in Indiana. What a pleasure. Keep those coming. Make sure you are able to share, and I'm going to put it back in the chat, your name, organization, and title, and I'll go ahead and sneak that in for those of us who are just joining us. Next, let's go ahead and just jump right into some of the accomplishments we've had. You can see, and oh my goodness, what a pleasure it was to put this slide together. These are just some of the organizations that we've worked with throughout the last year, some on a daily basis, some we've gotten to know brand new this year, and then certainly some that have just been critical parts of our world. Some of you may or may not know the U.S. Department of Labor has officially acknowledged the field of child and youth care practitioner as a apprenticeable field. And so that really captures the first two bullets in our list. Not only do we have an official definition, which I'll share with you in just a second, but we also are initiating U.S. Department of Labor apprenticeships in multiple states. We've also been able to update the entry exam that it went live last year. We have the professional exam update that will be coming out shortly. And that has been, again, just a wonderful opportunity for humans to engage and come together towards something that we all appreciate and that we all care so much about. In addition to the updates, we also are helping folks understand the different ways in which we can engage in educational pathways. And we have been able to engage directly into high schools across the country. We have still our program with Youth Build in Oregon. We also are building a relationship with a couple schools in Indiana in the fall of 2025, I'm sorry. We had a beta test where we were able to teach um, an introduction to child and youth work class where high school students were able to get college credit and work towards certification. It was a small group, intentionally of 4. Those 4 have been amazing and have been working with youth and working towards certification, and nearly all of them have accomplished that. Our effort to expand into school districts is definitely one of the areas that you can engage and definitely support if that is something that's interesting to you as we move forward. And then again, you can look to the right. Oh, wait, I just saw, is she here? We have been working with a number of folks to reinvigorate old relationships, but again, to build new ones. And we've also delivered a good number of very strong webinars from experts in the field of child and youth care from across the world. So those were all big picture accomplishments. And then you can see some of the folks with whom we have collaborated throughout the year, both represented in writing, but also in these images. As I said, this is the official description of the child and youth care practitioner as recognized in the United States by the U.S. Department of Labor. And that opens up some opportunities for us to engage. It definitely ties to our opportunities to engage with high school students. It also allows for us to do apprenticeships with humans across the lifespan. It doesn't just have to be those that are in high school. So apprenticeships can be with adults, but also with those upper adolescents. And I intentionally kind of moved through that pretty quickly because our big goal was to hear from you throughout this time. And it is certainly unique. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of changes that are happening in a variety of places. And as we all work to support youth and the families, it is super critical that we figure out how we work together. So I am really looking forward to hearing from you with regard to what are some successes, challenges, and or opportunities that you have that you would be willing to share either via chat or you can just come off mute. And I'm also going to encourage our board members, all of which who are engaged in working directly with child and youth care, if you want to talk about not board specific, but we all have our connections back to our communities and where we are serving youth. Anybody want to go ahead and come off mute and share their successes, challenges, and or opportunities in serving youth in their world today? You're also welcome to do Tammy is one of our huge components of success and at the Child and Youth Care Certification Board. You can see she said someone can be first. Yes, you can. Juan, you're killing me. I know that you are not a quiet human being. What's a success at your Boys and Girls Club? Don't you laugh.
Well, I actually made a move. So that's I'm no longer with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Indianapolis. I'm now I came to serve at Boys and Girls Clubs of Shelby County. So I moved over here and I went back to a club to be a unit director where I can impact the young people that we're serving and also provide some direction and assistance to the team members that we have in our facility. So it's I just started here about a couple weeks ago, so it's
Oh,
a little different. But one of the great things that I had this year that I have, and I actually got trained to be a facilitator for the CYC. So it's that was exciting. So I did that a few months ago, I think. I can't even remember. Maybe it was December. I don't even know. It's all a blur right now, but I just want to find those are successes for me. But challenges, I find the challenges, and the major one is that for people who are not, or who are in the leadership positions, who are not CYC certified, or that see the value of it for their team member, that's really it's trying to show that how valuable it is to get everybody on the same playing field, if you will, and having everybody use the same lingo, if you will, and those kind of things. And that's something that I continue to see as a struggle, but it's also an opportunity for for us for growth, right? So right now that's one of the things that I think of right off the cuff. Sorry.
I love it. And I think it really ties to where we all are. We're passionate about working with youth, and we really want folks to have those basic competencies. So I'm really pleased that you shared that one. And it's definitely a focus as we try and help folks understand and engage. Because our kids need so much right now. Our kids, our families, our communities, our society. So thank you very much. And welcome to being a brand new employee again. Jenny said that Campfire has partnered with Alaska After School Network. I love the partners. And Yolanda just left. Yolanda Brown, who is with the Indiana After School Network. Yes. Is just left the meeting, but it's really nice to see folks who are engaging across after school, as well as bringing together those communities and those organizations, because again, that's the only way we're going to get through this together. Other successes, challenges, opportunities.
Well, I'll share.
Please.
Definitely the work that we've been doing with the high school, because I've been all in on that with you. And I'm always looking for how to connect the dots. And I got the opportunity to go to Workforce Development Conference last week, which was awesome and exciting to be there. And it felt like it was the right place to be. And I love how, even though everybody there didn't realize they were youth workers, I'm like, you guys are youth workers, right? Because you're all providing internship opportunities for students and helping them grow. And I recognized that there was recognition from different industries, and one of them was child development degree. So early childhood, has a presence there, but how do we get youth work to have that presence? So that's kind of the next piece where I think we need to connect dots.
Thank you so much for all you do, Miss Jeannie Ann. It has definitely been my pleasure to engage with you and to engage in our community.
Yeah.
Others, I see Tammy said, yeah, we've got some interesting things happening in Indiana, and we're learning a lot. She acknowledged about how we can support and further promote certification. It also is an opportunity and almost a responsibility for us to capture how we're doing that. So that's something we're definitely building on. Some folks may not be aware that Jeannie Ann helps to coordinate certification applications in Indiana, and in Alaska we now have the same, we have a different human serving the same role. And so that has also been a key part of building off this model that we established in Indiana. Chris, oh please, Chris, I'm really looking forward to hearing from you.
Hi, so I'm not new to the CYCCB, but probably the first time most people have seen my face.
Yeah.
So I'm like nervous, but I'm good, I think. So I wanted to chime in. I don't know if it's a different look. I'm in a very rural part of Canada, northern Canada. I live in Petawawa, Ontario, which is about 5.5 hours away from Toronto, north, and in a community where CYCs don't exist. The term doesn't exist. I took it with me from Sudbury, where I was going to school, and I did all of my certification and all my portfolio building while I was in school, and was certified before I graduated. And it was built into my program, which was really nice. At the time, it was one of the only colleges. I think there was only maybe 2 others in Ontario that were doing it. And Jen Colley Caruso, who was the kind of my mentor throughout that entire time, basically was like, kind of continue on the work, like try your best. So I moved home to where I'm from. My philosophy in life is to move away and take what you think you can change back to your home community. So that's what I've done. So successes, we recently rewrote our school support counselor job titles and actually have CYCs listed as an employable profession, which usually it used to say, for my role, you had to be a social worker or DSW or relatable field. So I guess we're no longer a relatable field, we're our own field. So
That's amazing, Chris. That's a big deal.
so that was one. Challenges, I think I spoke to the challenges, is that in my area, it just doesn't exist. I think I'm loud enough that people are starting to catch on. But the terminology is definitely around my area. I've had a few people within my own high school counselor role that have chosen to seek out certification. So I believe they're putting together their portfolio right now, which to me is huge. And then opportunities for myself, I think it starts with, and I know it's happening in the background, but I think it's partnering with the accredited programs in the CYC field in Canada. I know like Robert Montgomery is the professor at Cambrian where I came, like where I went to school. I still do partnered stuff with them. I talk about, the idea of getting certified with them every year. And I know that I think that's what works. And that's how it worked for me. It'd just be, how to, and I don't have the answer. How do we continue that?
Well, you are doing some amazing work, and I'm going to try and capture what my response is. I think it's a perfect example of how we can work together. I would love to ask you, Chris, but anybody on the call that would have people that you think could benefit from engaging with us in CYCCB, if you could introduce potential collaborators, for lack of a better word, I'll fix that in a minute, to Deb, that would be me, via email. I would love to reach out and follow up with them. And if I don't, again, you heard a little bit from our amazing, the amazing board that we work so hard and so well together. I also want Chris to make sure you see Christina's chat. Hi, Chris. Christina from Toronto. Please give Jen my best regards. I loved working with her. That's the smile, right? That's how we bring folks together. And that's what I'm so excited about. And I'm putting my email address in there as well. Other people with opportunities, challenges, or successes that you would like to share? And if you don't have those, I think one of the most important things we can do is ask you folks how we can help you. If your goal, like Chris's, is to help people better understand CYCCB, How CYCCB can become better known. I think we all believe and understand that folks who are able to meet those competencies are better prepared to serve the unique needs of kids today. Now we have to figure out how to help organizations and organizational leaders and educators come to that same place. Do folks have specific ideas on ways in which we can help you both in your roles or in spreading the word about CYCCB? And as Frank just put in the chat, we're looking forward to coming forward with our priorities for 2025. We've initiated that process. As you might imagine, we've had to do some restructuring of it as our world has changed. And it is a great way for us to let you guys know what we're doing, but also to ask you if you have additional things we need to be considering in 2025, but also well into 2025 or 26. We very much want to increase our engagement with folks who are out delivering the service to children and youth. This group we invited is solely for those that are currently certified. And as we reach out to you, one of our most important audiences, we thought it would make sense to bring together those certified folks first and to build on what you know as an important part of serving the field. And then also we wanted to be able to ask you to help us share both our priorities and our goals, but ways in which we can support you as we move forward. So keep that in mind as we continue to move forward. We see you specifically as critical to how we move forward. Tammy just put a great chat in there. Tammy, I'm going to be mean. You want to go ahead and just jump in and share that verbally as well?
Yeah, I was just thinking about some of you are newer to the game in terms of certification. Others have been around, and what we know is that the field changes. It changes with every shift in policy. It changes with every shift in funding. And so in your communities, in your provinces, in your states, if there are things that you're seeing that we need to stay on top of in terms of building capacity and having a readiness to help youth care workers be most ready to jump in when they are, active at the local level or at the state level or province level. It would be great to know those as well. What are you seeing that concerns you? What are you seeing that's exciting about trends with the services? So please share those as well with us.
Thank you, Tammy. And again, you do such a good job helping people understand. We always have to change when there's different administrations in Canada. They're getting ready to switch to a new leader. We have already switched. This happens at least every 4 years. And our job now is how do we figure out how we serve you, and how do we really get you to help us understand the challenges you're going through, so that we can all respond together, so you don't feel like you're alone. Additionally, for the goals this year, we did have a strategic plan. It is due to end this year, so we're working towards updating that for the next couple of years. We also have seen really strong and exciting opportunities in high school, as we said, and we want to create a career path that starts in high school and goes through college, and that results in super high quality education for those individuals, while also having impact on their ability to support children and youth. But oh my gosh, it is so much fun to see these high schoolers learn from one another and from us about who they are and how they can make change, in a positive change in our world. So we're definitely working on that. It also is an area where we are looking for support or assistance, because every community is a little bit different, and we really want to invite anybody who is interested in being part of our efforts to reach out to those high schools We would love to have um, we would love to have folks who have an interest in being part of that team. You do not have to have a huge amount of time available. We can work with you, but we want to make that, because it's a primary goal for us this year. We want to put that out and make sure that you know that if that's an area of interest of yours, we would love to work with you on it. And that's for any state or province. It doesn't have to be specifically the US. We're also working towards expanding that by adding the apprenticeship piece. And then we also are continuing our webinar efforts. We really want folks to understand what a wonderful tool they are, how inexpensive they are, and how high quality they are. There's some amazing ones. Actually, there's one Thursday. And we'll talk a little bit more about those later this week. But those are available live, but they're also available archived, and we'll be sharing that information with you as well. So our webinar efforts continue to be a high priority for folks. As you might imagine, we're also updating our website. We want it to really be focused on what is CYC and why is it important? Why is certification important? So those are things that are coming to our website. And then we're very excited, and this is moderately egocentric. We have confirmed our first premier higher education partner, and that partner is the Indiana University School of Public Health. They and CYCCB are working on some co-created opportunities to support the field while also supporting students and humans in CYC engagement across multiple settings, not just specific to our university. And I can tell you, there's some amazing human beings that are very excited about engaging, but also being the leaders in bringing together students, eyeball state, and practitioners across our world. So that's something that's exciting. And if you have an interest in any of these things and feedback on them, please do not hesitate to let us know, because we would love to have you engage with us. I'm going to take a pause here and have Gene introduce himself, and then Tammy, I'm going to let you summarize what's happening in the chat. So if you want to do that right after Gene introduces himself, he just came from another opportunity. Gene, one of our board members from CYCCB, please.
Hello, how are you? My name is Gene Cavallari, a board member, and I'm from the Rhode Island area. And currently, we completed the apprenticeship identification in the United States for a recognized occupation. We are a federally recognized occupation. Got that done. Now I'm working on a training program, a training academy in Rhode Island, and hopefully it'll expand into New England. We got a little grant money to fund this, and we had a document years ago when we were in NACWA, and now we are CYCCB, and this was done by the people at CWLA, Andrew Monez, Floyd Alwan. An old document, we've updated it, upgraded it, and we're trying to implement it in the Rhode Island area. And we'll update you later with hopefully some good success stories.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gene. And Tammy, you ready to give us a quick summary from the chat?
Yeah, there are a few threads. One specific to, it would be great to continue these conversations throughout the year, and we're gonna go there. There was also a request about updating the CYC Foundation's curricula, the training around social media and internet and changes that we're seeing in that world. And I know that that's come up in the most recent CYC Foundation's discussions. I will also say that one of the things that we didn't highlight is that there's a group of individuals that are working diligently on updating the competencies. And so going through each of those competencies and looking, and there's a place for any of you that really want to work on that diligently, to look at that language and expand that in a way that we're really trying to focus on the knowledge, the skills, so if you will, and then the actual philosophies that are required to make the work effective. So yes, I think there's going to be some expansions on that training coming soon, and also those competencies. And then there is no way that I can eloquently capture Jenny's comments about
Yeah.
what's going on. And so, Jenny, is there any way you feel comfortable coming off of mute and sharing kind of that concern around funding in your communities?
Was it me you were asking?
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Jenny, from Labrador, this.
Okay. Me.
Sorry, thank you.
I was actually looking up because somebody asked a question and I was just trying to find the specific advocacy groups. I think possibly Inuit Separate Canada Me, or ITK. I think they may be tracking it. So Inuit Child First Initiative is a federally funded program for children 0 to 18, and it was based on the story of Jordan River Anderson. And that's where Jordan's principal came in. So I moved, and so I had to leave my position, which was more tied to, CYCCB. And I'm trying to navigate, trying to find work. But I'm still an advocate, and people still come to me asking about services and how do I connect them to services and supports for their children. And the Nunatsiavut government, which I'm a member, they put out a release stating that, they're having some challenges with ICFI, and they have multiple, I can't remember the exact number, but there's so many applications that they can't get through them all. And because of the political shifts in Canada, um, the funding may be on hold, but I just seen that, I think it was in Nunavut, or Nunavik, um, they're pulling funding from some regions, and they're saying, there's such a high uptake that they can't keep up. But my stance, as a child and youth care practitioner, my question would be, if there's such a high uptake, why are you pulling it away if children aren't accessing, educational, physical, and medical services? Um, I don't know. I just wonder how the Child and Youth Care Certification Board can support, how can I support as a board member, to a call to action from the Nunatsiavut government to the federal, like when they question the federal government, how can I support what they're saying, that kids, their needs are not being met, and obviously there's a high number of applications that they can't even work on. It just shows that there's a lot of need, and the federal government is just saying because of politics, we're saying no right now.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. And I think that would definitely be something, if you want to reach out, I'll be glad to be the email contact to keep us moving forward. But if you want to reach out, I think that's one of the things that is critical for everybody. It just seems, as far as helping people understand the value and what CYC is. And I think that is something that we very much want to help you with, because what that will do is then make it easier for us to make those materials available to other folks. So we will definitely connect on that. And I have your email through CYCCB, obviously. So I can contact you, and maybe let's have a conversation. I think when we also talk about ways in which this very busy group of humans can be involved, we would love to have anybody that is interested in helping us to create tools in coordination with other folks. We're not doing this alone. ACYCP, a good number of the provincial organizations in Canada, various state organizations. Folks need to know, everybody needs to know what a CYC is, and we need to help people understand how important we are. And that sounds like kind of a summary of what you were asking for, Jennifer. So I think that's a pretty critical focus for all of us. And I want to put the call out, if anybody's interested in helping be a part of that, we would very much love to have you. So Jennifer, I'll reach out to you directly.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Tammy, you had another one. Oh, Tammy, you would talk about any advocates or policy trackers that are important to you. You want to go ahead and share that one again?
Yeah, I think one of the things that it is the power of our work is the ability to mobilize and coordinate and connect when essential. And so one of the things that I'm very interested in is tracking the trackers. Who's paying attention to these types of policies and funding shifts and things that we need to be aware of so that we can support and mobilize and ask all the certificants to sign on should they so wish to various initiatives. And so if there's entities that you follow that you think do a really good job of tracking advocacy and policy and stuff, let us know that because we want to engage with them and have them know what it is that we do as well.
You guys see why Tammy's amazing. And that really helps us take us back to our core. How do we help other human beings understand, but how can we also come together? And that's the grand we. How do we come together, not just in one community, but across North America to really support what we all know to be so central to our future. Again, that's a huge one. If you have anything, please share it with us. We know of and are familiar with some tools, but it would be wonderful to have that from all of you folks. And that's a wonderful way in which we can come together. I've been trying to keep an eye. I think Frank, you can see, is already sharing some of our webinars that are coming up. You can see those coming in the chat. Also, again, we know that the group of humans that are already certified are those that already understand and are committed to our field. We also know that you're among the busiest human beings out there in your effort to not only make change in the lives of the humans you have direct contact with, but we also want to call to you for your engagement and get your engagement to help us move CYCCB forward. As you folks know, we are 100% volunteer. We are just as crazy in some ways, sometimes more, when it comes to our commitment to this field. And we are 100% dependent upon you folks saying, you know what, is there something specific that I am interested in that I can contribute to? So if there's a topic we've already addressed, I think we've gotten some great feedback. You guys are amazing, exceeding my expectations for communication. Let us know if there's something that you know that's really important and you want to engage in it or just share it with us. Always let us know that as well. And if you're not sure exactly how you want to get involved with CYCCB, but you know you want to get involved, just contact me and we can talk about what's important to you, what's important to the humans you serve, and what's important in your community, and we can find ways to connect you so that you're engaged. The board we have, thank you, Tammy. The board we have is amazing, but we're limited, and I'm gonna take it right back to you, Tammy, and you can take that a little bit further.
Just saying that, one of the things, because we're all so busy, is that we're very circumspect in what we do that's extra. Don't always have a time to do something. And I think that one of the reasons we do the work that we do is whether we know it intellectually or spiritually or psychologically or not, the idea of leaving a legacy is important. We leave a legacy with the youth that we work with. We leave a legacy with the families that we touch. Just in our chat, we had a legacy reach out where that's the reason that I went back to school, right? And so CYCCB and the work that we do provides an opportunity for us to leave legacies for upcoming changes in the field, child and youth care workers in both the US and Canada. And you can be involved as little or as much as you want to be. And so that's part of the initial conversation is, what would you like to do? Can you devote some time? Under what circumstances? And then not feel like you're going to get inundated with requests, because we all get it. So certainly inviting you, and also inviting those you know, because we all have these big concentric circles around us. So as we're talking, you might be like, oh, I know who I should invite and connect to this group. I know the person that would just be amazing, especially if they're new and they're upcoming and they haven't yet filled out their schedule or their calendar. Those are the ones that we would love to see and connect with as well. So please reach out to Deb. Let us know if you'd like to get more involved, because there really is a place for you and we need you, and we would value every one of your contributions.
And one of the coolest things that comes from working together to make change is it empowers all of us. Sometimes we don't feel empowered in our worlds. And so it's really nice to come together with those CYC practitioners. You guys know what it's like when we come together. It's a whole different group of human beings. We get it. We have to share the same passions and goals. It is also very centering to come together with people who share similar issues and similar folks. Wesley, I'm so glad you brought it up. I would love to just go ahead and go straight for updates regarding DEI initiatives. I am in a bit of a privileged role as in my job, my day-to-day job. I feel supported. I go into my world on a regular basis and say, we have a presidential administration in the United States that has been sharing a number of executive orders and is working to make changes, but I define things based upon the ethics that are tied to the standards of practice for the field of child and youth care. I help people understand that I define things based upon research. I have gotten to the point where we regularly have conversations about how we define things like gender. In our ethics, we focus on serving the humans with whom we engage, not specific to how someone else defines them. And so I will go in and talk with people about saying, the research is quite clear. Gender is not binary. It is on a spectrum. And so that's how I handle it in my daily world. When it comes to as an organization, I think once again, we go back to our standards of practice. We go, and ours have just been updated in the last couple of years. So we're in a really good place, and use that as our guiding light. I know that's a little bit Pollyanna. I know that it's different in different organizations, but the key that keeps bringing me back is, what is that central focus, and how can I stay true to my professional ethical guidance. And collaborative pathways where students and youth voices are bolstered by CYC professionals. Oh my gosh. We'll be capturing that as a potential addition to our vision, Wesley. And what's really critical is that when we're struggling, especially if we feel like we're alone in our organizations, that we reach out. And I need you all to know that as board members, we want you to reach out to us so that we can come together. Life has always got challenges. And if we ever feel alone, that's when things become much more difficult. So I really like that. And I really appreciate that. I also know that, let's see, I'm checking the time again. I also know that as we're all trying to respond to what is happening with various state and federal grants, it's very difficult. I can tell you, I had a whole plan for getting my students involved in the community this semester. I had been working on it for 6 months, and it included bringing together a group of immigrants. That's no longer a safe opportunity. And so I've had to go back and just be very flexible. Again, I live in a privileged world where I have a lot more control than many, but I think it's about, again, finding those folks who can be supportive of you and sticking close to them. And I want to really highlight the humans that are on this call, all of us. And I have no hesitation in offering engagement with our board of directors. That's part of why we're all in this. I am going to go ahead and share, one of the opportunities to help make that happen is to bring us together more regularly. And so what we are going to continue to do, and we would like your support in helping invite other people who can learn more about about the field and connect to people who are CYCCBs, who are certified with the Child and Youth Care Certification Board. We are going to start doing a CYCCB Café. It will be on the second Tuesday of odd numbered months. And our next second Tuesday is March 11th. And we will always have it at 1 to 2 Eastern. And I'll let you guys do the translation in time, because we are so proud to have humans across multiple countries and certainly across multiple time zones. With that, we will also make sure you folks get that announcement in our regular notifications that come from the office. And I would like to, as I stop sharing, go ahead and have Frank share his slide. And while he's doing that, I want to highlight the importance and the role that Frank Eccles has had on the field of child and youth care over many, many years. I think many or all of us have had the opportunity to engage with him. If you have not, I would encourage you to. If you want to talk about a supportive soul, he is one of them, and certainly someone who can be an opportunity to connect to our field. I also want to highlight the important and amazing humans that work in our national office under Frank's supervision, direction, collaboration. Those individuals, both Laura and Mary, and I'm so sorry, Frank, I need last names, my brain has stopped. But both Laura and Mary, who I refer to on a regular basis for support and assistance, are and have been a central part of how we've been able to accomplish so much. And so I want to make sure we acknowledge those individuals. And with that, Frank, you want to go ahead and share your slide and give us a brief summary. And I swear this wasn't scheduled just to promote my webinar, but I will tell you that Thursday, and I'm pulling it up from the chat, Thursday I will be doing our next webinar, and it is focused on building community care. Big shocker. I'm losing my patience with people who look at folks and say, take care of yourself, and then you're done. It is so much more than that, and we as practitioners need to find ways in which we can connect with one another. So that's one that we are sharing on Thursday, and we'll make sure you guys have a quick summary of the webinars. We can send that out to you as a quick summary from this meeting. We'll also include the slides from today, so you have access to everything we've shared.
Yeah, we're expecting to send you a follow-up from the meeting. You can get a link to a recording of it. We already put in the chat the 3 webinars that we have that are coming up. We have one actually later this week that Dr. Getz is doing, Building Trauma-Informed Organizational Practice, Moving Beyond Self-Care. Dynamite webinar, good opportunity, coming up Thursday. We have another one coming up on Thursday, March 13th, which is Learning to Confront Effectively Without Ruining Relationships. This is going to be offered by Frank Delano and Noor Alamari. They are fantastic presenters. They've done quite a few webinars for us. We're looking forward to this one. And then Jessa McKinley, we had to reschedule this one. It's called Making Training Meaningful, CYC certification at the organizational level. will be offered by Jessica McKinley. We had it scheduled last month. We had to cancel it because unfortunately Jessica got COVID. So we're in the process of putting it back on the calendar. It'll be sometime in the March lineup. We're looking forward to having you guys join us. And actually, one of the things that we would do is to reach out to you and ask you, there might be webinars that you would like to offer as well. So that opportunity is there. Reach out and contact us and let us know what you have. We're interested in you. Thank you.
Thanks again, Frank, and thanks for all that you do. Thanks for all that all of you do. I went ahead and put our mission back up just to kind of tie us back together. We have a few minutes. I would love to use it with feedback from anybody in the group. Are there ways in which we can better support you? Are there suggestions you have for how we can better connect folks? It doesn't get more important right now as far as the role that we can play in supporting you as the practitioners engaging with youth serving agencies across our very expansive area. There we go. Oh, I forgot. Thanks, Frank. I thought I was still sharing. It's almost like I don't do this every day.
We got your back. You're good. That's why we work together.
I also would like to invite anybody from the board to add or share anything that maybe you didn't get a chance to do. Okay, thanks, Jenny. Again, you can see we have a great team. And as I feel in a community care perspective, I feel called back to how critical it is that we care for one another. Janet Wakefield, who is from Indiana. She's the reason we have a youth development program at Indiana University, or one of the key ones. And she started kind of almost debriefing from a very difficult conversation she had with Fiche. If you're not involved or not familiar with Fiche, it's our international child and youth care group of amazing humans. And thank you, Jennifer. Our website has that information, and we're going to be updating it as well, Jennifer, if folks want to see. And I think while we can't address the very difficult conversation that comes with the impact of some of the decisions that are being made, I would like to reach out. Janet, we can chat because you need to talk a few more minutes after we're done, and I am here. I would be glad to make time. But for the rest of you, remember how critical it is to, again, provide that support to the other humans with whom you work. Jennifer asked about images of board members, so that folks know who and how to connect. I think that's a great idea. And Jennifer, when I reach out to you, we'll give you, I would love to learn more about what you're thinking, because I think we can do more than what we currently have. And then Wesley, would always love to hear more, connect with folks who are putting together workshops, presentations, always interested in the philosophies and praxis of CYC folks. Wesley, if you ever want to chat about that, contact us. We would love to do it. Chris Duchette, if you want to stay online, I can answer your question, or try to answer your question about portfolios. And I think with that, I just want to thank you all for what you do, encourage you to find ways to find the humans who support you, and let us know how we can support you. So with that, I look forward to hearing from you, engaging with you, and seeing you in March if we don't hear from you prior to that. All right, thanks, folks. Chris, if you want to ask your question, I think you're certainly welcome to do so.
Sure.
Sorry,
I haven't really fully formed this question. It's just something I've been meaning to ask over the last like 3-4 months and haven't gotten around to it. I recently had another child, so I'm severely sleep deprived, and
we understand.
Yeah, so I've just been like kind of doing my own thing here, and But the question I have is being in Canada, and maybe this ties in more to what I was saying about like kind of like universal terminology and understanding what CYCs do. When doing portfolios and assessing portfolios and trying to promote people doing them and getting their certification, one of the things that worked really well for me back when I did mine in 2015, I was back and forth with Mary consistently in terms of like asking questions. I'm a anxious human being by nature. And I just like, I was a broke student at the time. I didn't want to submit anything that was going to be sent back to me.
Right.
And she was vital in me being able to kind of bounce ideas off of her. And then I think since kind of through email, her and I have always kind of bounced off different ideas around portfolios and things like, you know, we have a portfolio here. It's like, you know, it meets, but there's maybe something here that that we need to expand on. And we've worked with like the other portfolio assessor as well in the process. And it's worked really well that way. And I guess what I'm getting at is if that's something that's consistent with like the assessors across the board, is there maybe an opportunity to have something, you know, on a quarterly basis where it's, you know, anybody who's interested in doing their portfolio and maybe struggling, maybe there's an opportunity to have like a, you know, a same, like, you know, a cafe like this where you're sitting down with an assessor. And we're not going to give you the answers, but, you know, we can help you form, because like what the main thing that happens, like people aren't, you know, they don't elaborate enough and they don't put enough information out of being modest. And then they
It's
don't
not
answer
a
the
skill
question.
we're good at, is it?
Yeah.
We're
So,
very good at modest.
right.
Yeah, I love where you're going there, Chris. And I think maybe, and I would be glad to reach out. We could schedule a meeting and just talk about what recommendations you have, as well as how can we be more available. We already have some tools that are available, but I think it's time
Yeah.
to modify and update and look towards what our folks really need. It's such an emotional experience. It doesn't need to, but that's what we all do. Frank
Yeah.
did too. Frank, your thoughts?
I think it's a great idea, Chris. Let's talk
Yeah.
more about getting it done. It's one of those things that's been on the back burner for a while. We do offer coaches to people. That's how we've been handling it. But you already,
Okay.
I know you know that because you're one of our primary portfolio assessors. So and I just want to thank you for what you
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
yeah, we're very much appreciated.
Oh, thank you.
Well, and through your experience and knowledge you've gained, I think we can help people. My biggest thing is I tell people don't overthink it, because it is so stressful. But I think we can definitely give more. And I think because it is an emotional thing, it would be wonderful to do that. So we'll capture that and I'll reach out to you, Chris.
Okay.
We'll figure out a plan for making it more available. I really appreciate you, but your commitment to it, but also your suggestion.
Okay. Thank you so much.
In
You
fact,
bet.
with your background
You
and
bet.
experience, Chris, it would be fabulous for you to help us come up with a program for updating the training and adding some new portfolio assessors, because we haven't
Yeah.
done it in a while. It's been some,
Okay.
we did that before COVID. And
Yeah.
it's time to do it again.
Yeah. I'm happy to help. I'm realistic with sleep is overrated. I'm realistic with my time. I remember reaching out, I think it was pre-COVID, about maybe possibly joining the board. And then I found out I was going to have my first kid, I think like a week later. And then when I started him and Han the idea again, then I found out I was going to have a second kid. So I'm burnt at both ends most days. I'm happy to help and be part of the process. I don't want to oversell my availability at the moment. I'm happy to work together and do that stuff as we move forward. I don't want to set a massive precedent that I'm like wickedly available, because that would be extremely inaccurate.
Now, we understand, and we really understand, and I think we can be quite efficient, and it doesn't even have to be a Zoom meeting or a phone call. It could literally just be going back and forth via email when you're able.
Okay.
We get it, Chris.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. All right, guys. I am gonna get back to work, and I actually was really looking forward to this, because I'm like being able to now put faces to names. And
That's one of our big goals. So I appreciate it, and we appreciate you sharing, and your video as well.
no, thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, have a good day, guys.
Thanks. Hi, Jennifer.
How do I get out of this? I've never used Zoom before.
If
Yeah.
at the bottom in the corner,
leave.
probably at leave. Yep. There you go.
Awesome, thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Jennifer, did you want to add something? There
I
you are.
did. I also wanted to talk about joining the board. I don't know if I can do this because I'm not within the field of child and youth care. I'm in a role, so I'm an Indigenous health navigator with the Labrador Friendship Center here. It's a
Oh.
term position.
Okay.
And since I joined the board, I think it was 2019, I've been doing my child and youth study program one course per semester at a time. I've got 7 courses left to do. This is my 4th time attempting stats.
Oh, you're amazing.
They only allow 1 or 2, but the first 2 times I was like, I have no idea. This, like, and this 3rd time I had to
Sure.
drop out due to death in the family, but now I'm back at it. So once I have this done, I have 6 courses left to do. You know, there's in Newfoundland and Labrador, there's child and youth advocate, but they live in St. John's. Labrador and Newfoundland and Labrador are very different.
Right.
And I would love to be an advocate in Labrador. So I don't know how that would work, but like I want to join the board. I want to make more connections. I want to stay more connected to the field. Because
And
once
we
you
want to.
leave within the work, because I worked as a family connections worker, working with families and kids. Now that I'm kind of out of that demographic, I guess, I feel like I need to figure out how do I get more connected. And I think the board, would really, really help me.
Well, we would love to have you, and we don't have elections soon, like right now, but we
Right.
do have plenty of opportunities for you to engage.
Okay.
And so what I would ask you to think about is how can we support you and what are you interested in? And then
Right.
we can kind of make those linkages. If you're comfortable, Jennifer, I can just reach out to you via email, and we can schedule a time to talk. Because again, my focus is how do we create this relationship where you're identifying kind of where you are and how engagement on the board can be supportive of your role and
Okay.
your goals. And then we'll make sure that it supports ours. But I would ask you to think about what do you want out of the board? And then when we have a conversation, it'll make it a lot easier to make sure we're serving you as much as you're serving.
Right. Okay. I'll look at the committees and, I look up the website, but not as much as
It's okay.
but
can have
I
that
want to look up the
conversation.
committees and I'd like to, I'll base my decision on what the committees do. And maybe there's a committee that just fits me and what I'd like to do.
And the other thing is, figure out what fits you and what you like to do, as well as those priority areas that we have for the coming year, because there's plenty of opportunity for engagement there as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and hang in there.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.